Thanks for tuning into this masterclass. Today I'm going to teach you Super Beer Goggles. Super Beer Goggles is a way to get 3 consecutive turns on an opponent that attacks you first by surprise. It piggybacks off of what we already know about Beer Goggles and upgrades it with the critical effect of a lost turn. Let me show you how it works. There's several ways that you can do this in a one-on-one fight, and there's only one way that you can do this on a mob fight where you're up against a whole bunch of opponents. I'll show you a couple ways you can do it in a one-on-one fight first. So just like Beer Goggles, you're going to have to study all that. The opponent has to attack you first by surprise. All right, now what we can do here is we're going to give them a booze and then another beer so that we've already got the Beer Goggles. We already know we've got that one free turn. And then what we're going to do is make an aim shot to the arm to get the critical effect of a lost turn. We're going to right tap to arrow mode and hover over the mutant. If we get that hand icon, 100% of the time that you get that hand icon, when you see messages like this in that window, you will get the critical effect of a lost turn, guaranteed. So now when I hit the space bar button, the game is doing a couple things. It's giving me a free turn for one because I got that critical effect. And then it's also giving me another free turn because we're beating them on sequence. So there's the first free turn. And now here's the second free turn. Just like that. Let's take a look at it from another angle. There you go, 3 consecutive turns. Absolutely marvelous stuff here. So we're going to charge into this guy. And then we're going to farm for the critical effect of a lost turn first by hucking a few flares. Spewing mutant blood, right tap, hover over the mutant. We didn't get the hand pointer mode, so we know we have to keep going for those arm shots. But when you hover the pointer mode over spewing mutant blood over the ground, right tap to get to arrow mode. This time we stunned him, and he's lost a turn. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a booze, drop his perception by 2 points and his sequence by 4. And then just to make sure we're on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give him a beer too, because you'll see that in this case, my perception is only 8. So I really just wanted to make sure that we 100% beat him on sequence and he lost a turn. That way we get the compounded effect of getting 2 additional turns on top of the courtesy we already got. So there's our 1 free turn. And then that was our second turn. And now here is our magical third turn. Just like that. So you've got choices. You can do it one way or you can do it the other. You can give them the booze first and then you can go for the flares, or then you can go for the aim shots, or you can go for the aim shots first and then give him the booze. Now this time on my courtesy turn, after he's attacked first by surprise, I'm just going to pass my turn so that now when the game checks sequence, because he's got so much more sequence than me, he gets a turn. Okay? So what I want you to understand is I can continue to pass my turns indefinitely until one of us dies, and I can still do Super Beer Goggles. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a booze, and then I'm going to give him a beer, and then, so I know that I've got that 1 free turn, and then I'm going to farm for the critical effect of a lost turn, forcing him to grab his arm in pain, right tap to arrow mode, hover over him. We got that hand pointer mode, and now hit the space bar. So here we are, we're getting our second consecutive turn. We'll hit the spacebar button again, and we're going to get our third consecutive turn here. And this happened after the game had already established the order of things. Because remember, the mutant got the surprise attack, then we got our courtesy, and then we simply passed the turn. The mutant ranked higher on sequence, so then it got a turn after our courtesy, but the game doesn't really care. You can continue to kind of ping pong back and forth for a few turns, and then when you're ready, you can do Beer Goggles or upgrade it to Super Beer Goggles. So it doesn't all have to be done on that first courtesy turn. It's up to you. But now I'm going to show you with multiple opponents. With multiple opponents, it has to be done the first turn. Okay? If you don't do it the first turn, then you've missed your opportunity. Now, you won't be able to do super beer goggles after the first turn with multiple opponents, but you can still stun a guy and make him lose a turn. Heck, you could stun this guy, stun this guy, stun this guy, stun this guy, and you could shut the whole board down and stun everybody. You could do that deep into the fight. But when there's multiple opponents, the only opponent that you can do super beer goggles on is the one guy that started the fight, that attacked you first by surprise. I'm going to give him several boozes here, and I'm going to make sure that we're snuck, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw a bunch of points into sneak real quick because I don't want to wait for all these guys to do their turns. So I gave him a bunch of booze, and I dropped his sequence down, so his sequence is 100% less. So his sequence is less than ours, and now we want to see if we can upgrade it by farming for that critical effect. Spewing mutant blood all over it. So right tap to arrow mode, hover it over. We didn't get it. Try again. That message in the message window won't work. We need to stun, stagger, stumble, spew mutant blood, right tap. Didn't get it that time. And you just keep going for it, forcing him to grab his arm, right tap, there we go. So now we know for a fact he's lost his turn. I'm going to hit the space bar button. And so now all these guys are going to go because they passed a perception check, and now they're part of battle. So after our courtesy check, even though we super beer goggled this guy, the game is going to allow these other queued up guys to be participants before that sequence realignment takes place. So that's our first free turn here. I'm going to hit the spacebar button again, and then we're going to be able to get our third consecutive turn on this guy. But remember, don't even think about trying to do super beer goggles on any of these other guys because it won't work because they didn't start the attack by surprise. Now remember, in a fight like this, you're probably better off going for critical effects or burst shots with a Bozar to just wipe dudes out and kill them. But if you're feeling lucky and you've got a high critical chance and you're feeling lucky, then you can make aim shots to the arms and to the eyes on super mutants and humans and critters like that to get to knock them out, break their arms, blind them, insta-kill them, kill them by sheer damage, or to make them lose a turn. I would, in some cases, rather do that first, and then if I got lucky and was able to get that critical effect of a lost turn, which I can easily check by hovering the arrow mode over the guy, then I'd be like, well, why not just give him a beer or two to upgrade it? But remember, if you're going to upgrade it, you have to, at a minimum, give them enough beer to drop their sequence down below yours. It does you no good to stun a guy and make him lose a turn. Sure, you're going to get a free turn on him, but if you can't beat his sequence, then you're not going to get 3 turns in a row. Guys, try super beer goggles in your own game. Trust me, you're absolutely going to love this one once you understand it. Bye now.